The Crusader Skirmish Trails missions in the first Stronghold Crusader were really timeless. Imagine a game from 2002 has succeeded in capturing players' passion to this day. The gameplay was sometimes balanced, and when it wasn't, some missions were hardly challenging, but you could win them if you understood the game's mechanics and worked your mind. But in the Skirmish Trails of a Stronghold Crusader II, if you started a mission by building your economy and rallying the best defenses you could have with your limited resources and minded your own affairs, this would be the perfect way to lose the battle. Because in this game, the difference wasn't the migration from 2D to 3D, which I personally see as very beautiful, but this should have made the game more realistic. Instead, the developers decided to make the game far worse by allowing the enemy AI not just to exploit every glitch in its favor, but even to cheat and spam troops infinitely and grow their numbers despite having no resources for such thing. The enemy will automatically build his walls in seconds or minutes, not to exaggerate, and continuously sends an ever-increasing number of attacking troops to your castle. And it's unrealistic and annoying, as if you are playing chess against someone who has infinite resupply of pieces. No matter how clever you are, you're going to be wiped out now or later. But that doesn't mean we can't force our victory on this game. Of course, I won't use absurd ways to win, like recruiting as many soldiers with all my starting gold and go to attack the Shah before he finishes building his castle. Despite that, such a tactic would win me a quick victory with few losses. But why would you watch this video? Where is the important part of any war, which is taking care of our people inside the castle and build the best economy for them and for the estate? I don't look at the skirmish mission's starting gold as just a resource for war, but it's like a capital to be invested in the construction of a medieval castle. And war expenses shall be a part of the budget, not to drain the entire nation's treasury. So let's see how we can apply the art of war in the first skirmish trail mission in Stronghold Crusader II. So welcome to Strongfort. In Crusader II, in the Skirmish Trails, the first classic trail is called Baptism. First mission, over the mountain. In this set, I have gold advantage over the enemy, and for the difficulty there's nothing higher than normal. Actually, 5,000 or even 3,000 gold is so much for establishing a good castle, but as an AI, he will have a terrible speed advantage in thinking and calculating over me as a human playing with mouse and keyboard instead of an already written code. The Shah, meaning a Persian king, against Strongfort in a small map in which there is various terrain. My keep is in the southeast and the Shah is in the opposite, separated by a lake with a mountain range. And I have a much larger grassland than my enemy, which will prove invaluable in the arid desert land, as farms can't be placed on the sand obviously. The Shah have a very small spot of green land on his border. However, both our estates are located away from the stone and iron mines, which is very important for building the castle and crafting weapons. These resources are located in the mountains to the north, which are also the same and only routes to reach each one's castle. I can predict that this mountain pass will be a field of many bloody clashes, and whoever occupies this top will very obviously control not just the rich resources, but the military power over the land. This mission shall be a very easy beginner-friendly, as the enemy has no resources on his side, and even his farms are very vulnerable, while I have a better location with more resources closer to me. But as many veteran players of the first Stronghold Crusader have tried Crusader 2, we were shocked by how ridiculously the AI in this game can cheat. As I said, if you started the game very normally, minding your own affairs, you'll be wiped out slowly by the infinite attacking waves. And I have tried multiple times to play realistically and follow the game's mechanics, but I found that the AI's cheating is terribly unfair. I know that war relies on deception, but the developers made the AI exploit every glitch in the game or its maps for super advantage. That made me think, if you're going to play dirty, I'm going to play dirtier. Not by cheating the codes of the game or messing with its structure, but if the enemy is exploiting this gap to attack my miners or march his troops from this route, and if my normal archers on the walls have zero advantage from their high and very costly towers, then I will exploit the same dirty glitch with a tower connected by the stairs of the barracks and sell some of my starting weapons to buy metal armor and crossbows to fill this tower with crossbowmen.
Attention! March!
and delete the way to them up. Over this, I will add a mangonel tower and order it to continuously destroy the Shah's food sources.
Finding range.
A message from the Shah.
This shall keep the enemy in check and secure this road from any attackers, while I peacefully and cool-mindedly build up my castle. This is temporary to counter the AI's early cheating, just until I build up my defenses, then I will play cleanly, starting by building some apple orchards, while my men simply penetrated the already begun attacking waves with their bolts. And look at this, the Shah has finished building his castle entirely. While I haven't yet built the first house, I'll keep my trick for now. As the apples grew, I wanted to maintain the variety of my food supply for both the popularity bonus and the general health of my people and soldiers, extending my housing and adding a worship building, before recruiting the personal guards for the Lord.
The Shah's troops are attacking.
Don't worry. More fools are being slain.
You are the greatest lord.
From the beginning, it seems like my enemy is nothing, as his economy is under my bombardment. But you who forced me to play this kind of trickery, because despite his economic paralysis,
A message from the Shah.
The soldiers look splendid in their uniforms.
just tell me from where are you respawning these troops? And yeah, a siege camp suddenly appeared. So I sent some Mamluk fast cavalry to take them down quickly. And yeah, we're in the Crusades period of history. The Sasanian Empire are long vanished. They returned victorious, and I returned to my beautiful farms, expanding to meat pastures. Well, some peasants will live outside my fort, but at least closer to their working farms.
A message from the Shah.
Oh, what a catastrophe.
Keep your stupid mouth shut. Your troops will be systematically eliminated until I complete my castle, just as you. Now, wheat farmers will bring grain that will need to be grinded in the mills. Like this, I think I have exploited my grassland as best, the opposite for the poor Shah. More fools are being smashed. While I built a street of shops in my town, and apples, cheese, and sheep meat are flowing into my granary, and now bread has joined the rations. To fortify my position, I need to quarry stone from here, and also iron for both trade and metal armor production later, so I've exploited the limited land as best as possible, with ox tethers to bring the goods back to my stockpile. Above the mountain, the Shah has his quarries, but most are idle, while his granary is completely empty, yet he's still recruiting troops. Strangely, my mills have a lot of flour not yet delivered to my stockpile. Do they need ox tethers? I can build an inn to increase my taxes, and for now, I can start fortifying my town with a frontal gatehouse next to a tower ballista. And I need to relocate these hovels that stand in the way. From this side, I can build a thin gate, as it won't be directly under enemy bombardment, and extending my wall a little here to provide covering fire against any infiltrating with a prominent tower. And completing the curtain wall, where I can build my town outside its limited space. And I built a grand tower in the center of my castle, with shorter one in the front. So the towers in the back shall be an observing points, while the biggest tower as a last strong refuge if the front were breached. And I have so much food supply in every type but meat, especially cheese. So I may replace some dairy farms with sheep pastures. As I built my castle layout, I can rearrange its interior with the heavy stone barracks behind the frontal wall, and I can start weapons production and exploit every narrow alley to build, so I can make my castle fully functional. By now, I can say that I have completely finished building my castle, and I can say to my endangered miners, thank you for your effort. As I have balanced my food production to a level, I can now give extra rations without fearing the dwindling of a specific food type, and raise the taxes even more. I sold a lot of surplus resources, as my castle is now paid off the entire capital invested in its construction, the 5,000 gold I started with, and generates net profit. Now I can allocate a portion of my budget for war. Firstly, by recruiting a garrison to my towers and walls. The Shah has Arabi archers, so I recruited the armored crossbowmen to counter them. And I can withdraw my soldiers and end this farce. Directly after that,
The Shah's troops are attacking.
the Shah sent another assault party. I have organized the troops on the walls to get the best of their limited range. But reinforce the wall with my longer ranged Arabi archers. Now, I think my work in establishing my castle is complete. Despite my military spending, I found that I have surplus food, like 3,000 bread, and selling all extra production has raised my wealth to over 11,000 gold. This is more than 100% profit investment. From my position of power, I have the costs of sustaining a war. So my army has formed outside my fortress and taking the march, with Arab infantry in the vanguard and archers in the rear guard. They climbed the desert mountain, not long before we clashed with another contingent of enemy archers. But thanks to my troops' better organization, my archers fired from behind the infantry's shields. This is why I moved the swordsmen in the front. But once we have reached the mines, my soldiers destroyed on sight. Everything belongs to the enemy. No Shah's resources here. There, we've built a camp and blocked the route from both sides, as these portable shields will be great in protecting my archers against ranged attacks. So I have positioned my archers on both sides to prevent any flanking maneuvers.
A message from the Shah.
May the desert genies favor us this beautiful morning.
The genies that he's talking about is a wrong pronunciation of the Arabic word jinn, which is a plural term. And the jinn in some cultures called spirits or ghosts. Some of them are good, a lot of them are bad, called demons or devils. And all pagans do worship these creatures not only in the ancient times, but to this day there are people who do rituals to get the aid of the jinn, but comes at a terrible cost. It's safe to say it's worse than gambling or drug addiction, because these people cannot request the aid from a jinni, an individual jinn, without committing magic, which leads to both jail and hell after death, because of the crimes the jinn will ask them to make. A lot of the time, many magicians in the old and modern times commit murder for the jinn. The enemy stood in confusion, as we were on the top, blocking all routes to my castle. But what is this? Some stupid enemy camp next to mine? I sent my Mamluk cavalry to destroy these precious equipment. While my troops were in danger, facing a determined assault party from the Shah's finest Arabi infantry. They breached our wooden wall, trying to smash a gap in my lines by fighting their way to my castle. My infantry prevented their wish, but the enemy killed around 3 archers from my ranks before my soldiers delivered the killing blow. Not long after, their rear guard of archers thought the vanguard had succeeded. While rushing to my castle, they were met by the sharp blades of my swordsmen. The Shah's entire attacking force perished before even reaching my castle walls. This must be a terribly costly defeat for the Shah, which shall make the siege on his castle easier, after the fall of many of his best soldiers in the Battle of the Mountain Pass. And I have withdrawn some troops from the flank to reinforce the front. And I sold many of my surplus production, growing my wealth to over 16,000 gold, while the Shah is still spending on harassment. When another infantry division started climbing the pass, I gathered all of my soldiers to engage with them before they reached my unarmored archers. The infantry clashed in melee combat before blue-clothed corpses fell on the slope one by one.
You are the greatest lord.
Without any loss from my men.
سمو تحت أمرك.
But I sent a doctor for the injured.
أدويتنا جاهزة.
For now, the Lord has finished administration duties in his castle and descended from his keep accompanied by his guards,
فرسان السيف نتقدم.
marching to lead the army, which was hardly pressed by the Shah's rapid assaults.
The Shah's troops are attacking.
The Lord's personal contingent took the march outside the castle and climbed the mountain from our side to our stationed army. The Lord has arrived to directly command his troops, reorganizing the army into 3 divisions. As I have opened our marchway from the west, moving to encamp on the top of a gentle slope.
حالا.
تقدم للأمام.
At your disposal. Engineer detachment heading out.
And just as we have reached our position, another strong contingent attacked us. Thanks to the wooden shields, we took no casualties, and my swordsmen finished the rest. Now, we've encamped with the higher mountain to our back and the end of the map to our right flank, while healers are dealing with some wounded soldiers. More harassments were dealt with by my army's flank, and we have rearranged exactly at the slope edge to oversee everyone down and eliminate any blind spots, while the Lord is in his camp planning the assault of the Shah. Currently, we are in a very strong position to attack the Shah's castle with a frontal assault. But considering not only that he has built his best defenses in this section, but also that he has his military tent just like me outside and in front of his castle, where there is more archers and swordsmen than on his walls. And our approach is also limited by the terrain, the mountains and buildings on the left, and the end of the map on our right. To avoid terrible casualties that may turn the tide of the assault if it went wrong, I must determine the exact way to breach the castle wall, which does not appear to have many garrison above. And in Crusader II, we cannot underestimate the strength of the Lord and his packed personal guards on his keep. The natural position of the Shah's castle will force me into a direct conflict with his forces until I can reach him. But since I also have an Arabi army, standing in front of his similarly strong troops will be a dangerous bet. I needed an advantage point for my archers against his. So, my plan features both direct fighting and deception. First, I allied with some Hashashin and redeployed my army. The mixed line of archers and swordsmen, with the wall of portable wooden shields as the main body of the army, and the Lord's contingent intentionally positioned behind them on the right with the Hashashin. Everyone knows their signal. I will send the main body for a direct fighting under the castle's towers. This shall be the main clash, and everyone will be fighting for his own survival over the other, while the Hashashin shall exploit the commotion and scale the castle wall and open the ungarrisoned gatehouse on the side and just leave. The Lord's division will infiltrate from the open gate and surprise the Shah with the fight in his own home. This shall be a watertight plan, if there were no other surprises waiting for us on the battlefield. The plan started with the slow infantry descending from the hill first, followed by the rest of the army in proper coordination. Immediately, the infantry clashed in heavy melee, pushing the enemy's swordsmen away from my archers, whose loss of some shields revealed gaps in their ranks. But in the meantime, the Hashashin went unnoticed to climb the wall and capture the gatehouse. Once the gate is opened, all my melee soldiers poured inside. And the Lord walked personally to fight the Shah. But the difficult fighting on the castle stairs led the Lord to severe injury, forcing him to abandon the fight to his guards. We have cleared the entire castle, and all fighting stopped but the determination of the Shah himself. I could imagine what would have happened if I tried a quick fight or taking the Shah with the Hashashin only. The problem in this game is that the troops are standing very honorably fighting the enemy lord one by one, but I can't understand how my lord has taken this much damage while the Shah is still fighting all that long.
A message from the Shah. We are victorious, sire.
Despite all the clashes we went through in the skirmish, I've killed 510 units in total from the Shah and lost only 28. And look at this, I have earned nearly 32,000 gold, a massive economic success over his nearly 6,000, and produced over 25,000 food, and he produced nothing at all. This must be a glitch, because there was time after I deleted the 2 towers and stopped the dirty play that he could have gathered more resources, but I don't know. He only gathered a ton of his stone. And here is the graph of the greatest lord. He wasn't even competing. And if we look at the army value, we'll see that the Shah was spending on harassment parties who were being killed, while I was focusing on building a strong army that could repel these fluctuations. And at the end, the losses in the final assault. He went to complete annihilation while I have maintained most of my army. If you have reached this far, then you are someone who is awesome. I am actively working on a large video video of over 10 hours of raw gameplay footage, but I have been away from the channel for a while now, so I've decided to make this skirmish video in the meantime while I work on the large video. So find that this video will also be long, but at least it's easier than the massive video I am working on right now. However, I'm still not sure if I would make an entire series of a Stronghold Crusader II Skirmish Trails missions, as I intended for Crusader DE. I'll read your comments and opinions on this video, but anytime I make a skirmish from Crusader II, I'll list it in order in its dedicated playlist. For now, let's read and discuss your comments from the previous videos. From the video Building and Defending Constantinople fully in Stronghold DE, Foul Manor says, when it comes to Constantinople and the Theodosian walls, I really loved watching the whole process of building them, and the third time really was the charm. In that video, I didn't said that in the period when my graphics card failed and I was forced to work on the CPU, I accidentally clicked the wrong partition and deleted the entire footage of the 3 attempts to build the city that you've seen in the video. I wanted to format another partition, but when I clicked the button, I felt very strange, far worse than I felt when I needed to start YouTube from scratch. That was because I've tried before some software to restore deleted files, and it was terrible. It restores a destroyed version of every original file, and if the restoration process failed from the first time, means that your files is gone forever, because it would be overwritten on the storage drive. So when that happened, I took my PC as it is and went to a technician. One of the very rare situations that I would ever need a technician to get his hands on my PC, but simply because there was absolutely no chance for another mistake. And thanks to God, after 2 days of working, I restored everything on that mistakenly deleted partition, including the high quality screen capture of Constantinopolis content. I think the walls might work better if there was a bit more distance between them, which would mean a larger map, but I'm not sure if that's possible. But I'm looking forward to you revisiting Constantinople. Yeah, there is actually another footage on my drive right now of the promised return to Constantinople and its Theodosian walls that I'll apply in a better, more detailed way while conserving Stronghold's gameplay mechanics. I hope to produce it soon. In the video Multi-Tactical Siege of Edessa in Stronghold Crusader DE, Zaid Asad says, have you tried the Stronghold 4 demo since it's publicly available on Steam? How was the overall experience? The developers just copy-pasted the viral Stronghold 1 but in modern graphics, but they didn't follow the real reasons of Stronghold 1's success and apply it to modern technology. From the exceptionally authentic voices, the graphic design, unit design. Today, we've played Stronghold Crusader II, and look at the comments how many guys will say that the original was better. It's not nostalgia, but the massive passion they've put into a game hasn't been done again until Stronghold Warlords. Also, Stronghold 1 was viral because it worked on any piece of hardware. Now, the new high graphics will not be an advantage for Stronghold 4, but Bergfried will compete with it because of the creativity. On the video of building Crac de Chevalier in Stronghold 2, Skykabo says, still hope you will build Carcassonne someday. A very inspiring suggestion, man. I saw your first comment. It's a very compact, strongly protected medieval town that has to be tested under siege. I still don't know how to simulate these Francais towers in Stronghold games, but we'll see that later. As you know, Smedorevo video, which is the most popular video on my channel until now, was a suggestion from a viewer, so I thank you for your comment. If you enjoyed this video, like it and subscribe to the ultimate medieval adventure, Strongfort, and I'll meet you on the coming battlefield.